this. All right. I don't even need them. Okay. I am so excited to be here today, guys. I live in Roy, Utah, and this excites me. And I'm passionate about what I do, and I'm excited to share why I do what I do. But before I start, I'm going to ask you this question. Is there something you could do this week that would make your life terrible?
Yes.
Okay. So, is there something you could do this week that would make your life better?
Of course.
Yes. And I am excited for those who they're graduating and moving on. Is that what I'm hearing? You guys, this is so cool because from what I learned about addiction, it's to be very celebrated. And my business is called Feed Your Brain, Change Your Life. And I'm really excited because I have a book that's coming out. It looks like this, and it just went through formatting. What do you guys think? Does this look pretty?
That's really good. That's really good.
It's Feed Your Brain, Change Your Life. Take control of your brain, body, and your emotions. And it'll be out by the end of the month. So I'm super excited about that. The reason, what my business looks like, is it's feed your brain, feed your body, and feed and change your thoughts. It's like a three-legged stool. You've got your brain, you've got your body, and you have your thoughts. And they're all kind of interconnected. Now, you've all seen a three-legged stool, right? And all three legs have to be strong for that stool to stand, right? And if one leg isn't, it will not stand, correct? That's the same thing as us. We have the brain, and I'm talking like the gland, the brain, and the body, and your thoughts. And when they're all working together, you have optimal health. And when they're not, then something has to change, right? Now, my business is amino acids, nutrition, and hypnotherapy. And I was at a conference one day, and some lady walked by my booth, and she stopped, and she's like, that's a really odd combination. How do they go together, and why do they go together? Are you guys ready to find out?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited. Okay. So this is what it looks like, okay, is feed your brain with amino acids, feed your body with nutrition, and feed and change your thoughts with hypnotherapy. I am a certified clinical hypnotherapist, and I'm also a certified addiction recovery and mental health nutrition coach, specializing in amino acid therapy. Now, I didn't grow up thinking, I think that's what I want to do, right? But I had 3 daughters. My youngest daughter, at age 6, was diagnosed with anxiety, and I did what all moms did. I took her in. They was like, it's just a chemical imbalance. Just get her on some medicine. She'll be fine. But she wasn't. And at age 15, she turned to drugs and alcohol for self-medication. And I didn't know how to handle it because I've never been an addict before. And I thought I could either ground her enough or I could love her enough to get her to stop. And it didn't work. And I learned more about the juvenile system than I ever thought I wanted to know. I was like, wow, this is not an area I had any experience in. So I got her through high school, and at the time she was addicted to marijuana and alcohol. So I put her in a rehab center. And unfortunately, she was really young, and she did come out clean. So that was a good thing after 30 days. And I'm like, yes, because my thought is I'll put her in there, and she'll come out, and she'll be better. And she came out clean from the alcohol and the marijuana, but she came out addicted to tobacco, sugar, and coffee. So she just went from one to the other, right? Well, and 30 days after she got out, she met with her roommate that she was in the recovery with, who introduced her to meth. And that changed my daughter. And I'm looking at you guys going, oh my gosh, if you could get through this, it's amazing. Because it was the hardest time of my life as a mom. I lived in fear. Was she going to kill herself? Was she going to kill somebody else? Or was she going to end up in jail? And every time she'd leave, I'd be this fear. Am I going to see her again? And one day I got a call, and she was in jail. And I was like, thank heavens, maybe this will be the thing, because I'm not an addict. And my thought is, if I ever went to jail, I wouldn't have to go back. So that's what I thought is, okay, she'll get out and she'll be better, right? I mean, very naive. And she had the desire, and I watched her, and for 6 months, she did so much to just stay clean. And then I watched her, after about 6 months, she relapsed. And then she'd go through this process again, and then she ended up in jail. One time I had to put her there because she threatened me and my life. And so that was the hardest thing I ever had to do. But I just watched this cycle. Mom, I'm going to stay clean, I'm going to do this. And she'd go for 6 months. Same thing. And I kept thinking, what is missing? This is not making sense to me. So I thought, I have got to find answers. I'm going to lose my daughter. So after the third time of her going to jail and getting out, I thought, I have got to find something that's going to help her. Now, during this process, what I learned about addiction is, you don't want to be it, right? Most of the time, there's self-medication going on because there's something else. Anxiety, depression, worry, whatever. And when somebody goes off of drugs and alcohol, most of the time they're just white-knuckling it. It means doesn't mean they feel good. They're just holding on, right? I mean, because they've either said, I don't want to do this anymore, so I'm going to do what it takes. Or the judge or somebody says, you've got to stay away from it, right? So it doesn't mean they feel good. It doesn't mean those cravings go away. So I am a believer in God, and I prayed, and I said, please help me out here. Give me an answer. And 2 days after I did, there was a show on TV. It was a Consumer Report. You guys, anybody ever heard of Gephardt in here? Anybody? Okay. So he did a story, and what he did is it was on a rehab center, and what they were doing is they were using IVs of amino acids. So they were giving large doses of amino acids through an IV, and what they found after 3 days, the cravings started to go away, and after 10 days, it was almost gone. And they had an 85% rate of recovery. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's it. That's my answer. But it's $1,000 a day. And I'm like, wow. Okay, if that's my only answer, isn't there something else? So I thought, well, okay. I know that I can go to the health food store and buy supplements. Because amino acids are just the building blocks of protein, okay? Your body creates them, or you get them from protein, or you get them from a supplement. So I thought, well, I'll go try that. I'll just go buy a whole bunch of amino acids. I'll give her a large dose of them. And maybe it'll take longer than 10 days. Maybe it'll take a month. I don't know. Sounded good. And luckily, a wise friend of mine said, you can't just throw amino acids at people. You need to understand how they work. I'm like, well, that's probably a good idea. So I Googled rehab centers that use amino acid supplements. I found one out of Florida, and I called them and said, you know what? Please help me. I have clients who are my hypnotherapy clients, and they come to me and they have a desire to relieve the thoughts out of their mind, the false thoughts. And I think I'd do something for them, and they come back the next week, and it's like I hadn't done anything. I'm like, okay, this is weird. So I'd work on them again, we'd do it again, and they'd come back, and it was like 54 states. I'm like, there's something missing here. And I said that to the guy, and I said, and my daughter, please teach me about amino acids. And he's like, you know what? I'll do one step better. In 2 weeks, we're having a training in Salt Lake City, and you're going to learn everything you need to know. And it changed my world. It changed my life. Because I live 20 minutes from Salt Lake City. And what I learned there changed my daughter. Okay? So, this is my passion. And this is my why. It's her. And people say, well, how's she doing today? And I've learned a lot about addiction. And luckily right now she's in a sober living program. She's doing amazing. So I am just, my heart is really tender. Because that's why I'm here. Is to teach you what I learned and how there is hope. And there's healing. And there's options that, you know what, you may not even have known before. Because I sure didn't know about them. And what am I talking about? In your brain you have, like I said, 4 neurotransmitters. Dopamine, serotonin, GABA, and endorphins. And they are your happy, calm, feel-good chemicals. And when they're working right, that's what happens. But when they quit working, and they can quit working for lots of different reasons. Some people are born with less of them. So children with anxiety, depression, can't focus. It could be lifestyle. Could be your diet. Could be toxins. What's that mean? What did you tell me?
You have 15 more minutes.
15? Okay, good. I'm like, I don't know what that is. Thank you. Okay. So it was, or 60% of people over the age of 40, their neurotransmitters become depleted. Okay? And what happens is we like to live in homeostasis. Right? We like to feel good. And when they become depleted, we go out looking for something to make us feel better. Okay? And what that looks like is, so there are, the first one is dopamine. Okay, and now in your packet there is a quiz. And it says, could amino acids be your answer? And for you guys out in online land, you can go to my website, hypnoaminos.com, and you guys can all do it too. But there's a quiz that you can take. It says, could amino acids be your answer? That's what this is, okay? So, first one is dopamine. And this is the first one I learned about because it helps with the energy. So, when your dopamine is low, first of all, you're looking for something, you're craving something for stimulation. Sugar, caffeine, meth, cocaine, monster drinks, something that's going to give you that, aspartame, okay? And I'll call myself a sugar addict. I always thought it was just a gene because my whole family likes sugar. And so I was like, oh yeah, I have to always have sugar. So this was the first one I tried, which is tyrosine. Tyrosine, when your body creates. And what tyrosine does is it's a sustained energy. And this was my first one. So the instructor says, okay, rate your symptoms. I'm like, okay, it's 11 o'clock. All I wanted was a Diet Coke, some Good and Plenty's, and a nap. And I'm thinking, how am I going to make it till 5 o'clock when we're out of here? So she gave us the tyrosine, and she's like, okay, in 20, it takes about 20 minutes. So if your body needs it, you may feel a difference within 20 minutes or less. So I did. And in 20 minutes, I went from, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm going to handle it, to about a 5, thinking, okay, is this like a placebo effect? Because this is kind of weird. So I took one more, and all of a sudden, within 20 minutes, my cravings were gone, and I had energy. And I'm like, okay, that is crazy. So I took it home to my daughter. I was like, okay, Angelique, I got this. Because she was taking so many medicines to keep her from using drugs, but they were making her sleep. So I gave her this. I said, okay, you have 2 of these. Take one in the morning and one at night, or afternoon, let me know how you feel. So I came home that night, and I said, okay, how'd you feel? She's like, I felt jittery. Well, that's a sign of taking too much. And I was like, dang it. Well, the next morning she comes to me and said, Mom, can I have some more of those energy pills? And I'm like, well, you said that they make you feel jittery. And she's like, well, that's because I took 2 of them together with 3 cups of coffee. I'm like, seriously, daughter, really? Oh my gosh. Okay, so that was the first thing I learned. Then I learned, it's like, gosh, really? Okay, keep me on track, okay? I'm gonna talk really fast. Serotonin. Serotonin is when your serotonin is low, you crave something in the afternoon and evening. You want something to positive mind. It could be alcohol, it could be marijuana, it could be sugar, caffeine, it could be ecstasy. Something like that that's gonna just kind of make you feel good. It's also where worry and anxiety, depression, OCD, obsessive thoughts, irritability, rage, suicidal thoughts come from. So by feeding your brain what it needs, which is 5-HTP and tryptophan, serotonin follows light. So usually you feel it okay in the morning, afternoon, evening. If you don't have enough of it, it kind of depletes. And you don't have enough to turn into melatonin, which makes it hard to sleep. But by taking those, it's going to help you because you're feeding that, okay? GABA is one of my favorite. GABA is your body's ability to calm down naturally. So when your GABA is not working, you feel that uptight, overstressed, can't calm down, like not in your stomach, like want to bite somebody's head off feeling. So by taking GABA, GABA actually helps you calm down, okay? And what you're doing is you're replacing it. So you could sugar, alcohol, and caffeine. I'm not caffeine, but starches hit all of them. But that's also like Xanax and Ativan and Klonopin, things like that. But by taking GABA Chill, it just calms you down. It's like I can breathe again, okay? And then the last one is endorphins, right? Everybody likes endorphins. They make you happy. And when your endorphins are low, then you're looking for something for comfort, reward, or numbing. Comfort is I want to feel love. Reward, I deserve this, and numbing, I'm going to check out. That's when you feel this love, like, oh my gosh, I love this outfit. I love to go shopping. I love to watch TV. I love to, gaming, gambling, pornography, all fit into this, into endorphins because they make you happy. And what you do is when you take it, it floods your body with endorphins, okay? This is where the opiate addiction comes from too. The last one is your blood sugar. And when your blood sugar, for an addict, one of the biggest tools is to keep your blood sugar level, because when your blood sugar is level, right here in the front of your brain is your prefrontal cortex, and that's your, I'm gonna make this choice, and this is your outcome. It's the tools to stay sober. It's the reasoning, it's the judgment. But when you let your blood sugar drop, you go into that hypoglycemic state, you know, that irritable, like I'm hangry, I gotta have something, and irrational. And so it's like, I don't care the outcome, I want what I want. And so for an addict, it throws everything out the window. So by taking glutamine, which is a brain cell food, you're actually feeding your brain what it wants, rather than having to turn to something else. And so it's powerful, and it's been amazing. And you know, not everybody I work with are addicts, because if I asked you, anybody in here, you know, anybody struggle with stress, with anxiety, with depression, with cravings, with not being able to sleep, without not able to have energy, that like fits the whole population, right? Okay, so I actually have my own line of amino acids. They're created in America for it. They're called Shelly Jo Aminos, that's me. And there are 6 of them. And I like them because they are all 100% natural. They're non-GMO, gluten-free, and they are vegan. And the great thing about amino acids is they're not expensive. So I became so excited about this because I started sharing it with other people, children, teenagers, adults who are just struggling to feel good. The last 2 places real fast, and how much time do I have left? Oh, good job, I'm doing good. You guys understand me? I'm like, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so you feed your brain with amino acids, okay? You feed your body with nutrition. There's a connection between the body and the brain when it comes to mental health. What you eat matters, and especially as an addict. It is imperative that you eat food, okay? We live in a society where sugar is rampant. I mean, we're eating sugar like in like pounds and pounds. I don't have the amount here, but when you're feeding your brain like this, it needs to be fed. It needs protein, okay? Protein feeds your whole body. That's where amino acids come from, right? So amino acids are like, you take protein and you break it down to its littlest amount, and you're feeding your body and your brain, and it needs it, okay? You need veggies. So I tell my clients 3 proteins, 3 veggies, and 3 good fats a day. because you're feeding your body. Your brain is 65% fat. It needs to be fed. It needs to be fed good food, okay? The great thing is if I get somebody taking the amino acids and eating correctly, I don't have to tell them to quit eating sugar because I know that their cravings are going to go down. It's pretty powerful, okay? The last thing is hypnosis. A lot of times I'll tell people I am a hypnotherapist, and they look at me like I am like voodoo, like, oh my gosh. She's going to read my mind or she's going to control my mind. And I say, you know what? If I could read anybody's mind, I'd want to read my husband's, right? And if I could control anybody's mind, I would want to control my teenagers when they were little, right? Would that be great? But it's not mind control, okay? What it is, you're so hyper-focused that you're not paying attention to things out here. Anybody ever driven somewhere and they get there and go, I do not remember how I got here, right? Or you're on your phone and you're so like this that you're like, you're looking at this and somebody's calling your name and they think you're being rude and ignoring them, and you're like, I don't even hear you, right? It's because you're so focused. That's what it is you become so focused. And what it is that the conscious and subconscious hold different things. The conscious holds about 10% of your thought processes, which is, I gotta get up. It's your drive, it's your goals. 85% is your subconscious, and that is every belief, memory, and emotion you have from here back to forever. Now the challenge is that some of these beliefs aren't true beliefs, right? Some of them are. Some people have been through horrible things. Thank you for sharing your stories, because some people have gone through terrible things. And the thing that happens is we're still carrying all that with us a lot, right? And so it's hard to let go of it. So what we want to do in hypnosis is we want to work through those. It's not the memories that's the problem, it's the emotion that comes with it. Because when we have a trigger and that memory comes up, it's like it happened yesterday, right? And so in hypnosis, if we can desensitize that memory from the emotion, then it becomes just another memory. It doesn't mean to downplay it, but it means that then you can look at the things that happened in your past and say, yes, I did experience them. And it made me who I am today. And I can learn from them. I can teach from them. I can be empathetic to others I come in contact with that have lived it. But I no longer have to carry all that baggage with me anymore. So the conscious and subconscious can come together and be single-minded rather than fighting these different feelings. And some things are even created when you're so little you don't even remember what they are. So that's what I do, guys, is I am passionate. I've seen miracles. Now, amino acids aren't magic. I mean, if you buy them and they sit on your shelf, then they're just perfectly pretty, supplements that you're like, oh, those are pretty. I think they're pretty. Of course they are. But then you're just wasting your money. But the thing I want to let you guys know is that there is hope. Everybody had a crazy year last year, right? If you didn't, then you lived under a rock or something, right? And September, I broke my arm. And I'm 57 years old. So you're 50, I'm almost 58. And people say, well, how'd you break your arm? I said, well, I was roller skating. And people are like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? So, because I thought it was a good idea. My daughter wanted to go roller skating, the one that I'm just talking about. I'm like, that'd be fun. So we went to Classic, and it still looks like the 80s. So if you used to roller skate, looks the same. So I bought these really cool roller skates. They're super cool. And I felt like, the wind's in my face, and this is so much fun. So I'm like, this is so fun, I'm going to do this. So I took them home, and I didn't really think about the fact that roller skating on a rink is not the same as roller skating on the street. So I was going from the sidewalk and down the street, and I fell, and I broke my arm. And it shattered it. I actually did get ketamine, though. I gave her, that was the only trip I've ever been on. That was wild, I'll tell you. I mean, I was like, wow. Okay, I saw white foam and white. I mean, it was crazy. Anyway, because they use it in the hospital, so they call it conscious anesthesia. Okay, but when I did, I would tell people I broke my roller skating. People would laugh. But then they're like, you're too old to do this, and you should not do this kind of stuff, and because you're going to get hurt, and you're getting older. And I was like, oh, I kind of am. Maybe am I? So for a second, I almost believed him. Then I got my cast off, and I had this horrible scar here, and I have a plate in here. And at first, I was like, oh my gosh, that's ugly. I'm gonna have to live with that the rest of my life. And then I realized that I have a plate in here. Kind of like, I was like, well, I'm kind of like Wonder Woman. I have this plate on my arm, and now I have these like Wonder Woman powers, right? So if I put my arms together like this, I can, feel the Wonder Woman power, because I decided, instead of looking at it as this horrible, terrible scar, I'm like, this is cool, right? But it made me think about life. Made me think about, am I too old? I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, I like to jump on the trampoline. I've got 2 granddaughters, and I play with them. And I love to ski. Anybody here like to ski? I was so excited because last week I wanted to see how fast I can go from the top to the bottom, and it was at Snow Basin. Okay, guys, I'm pretty proud of this. You probably don't care about this, but I'm really proud. But I went 63 kilometers, 7 minutes from the top to the bottom. That's almost 40 miles an hour. That is cool. Not that it matters or anything, but I thought it was really cool. But what, my live boldly, what does live boldly mean to you? It may not mean skiing down as fast as you can. It may not mean roller skating. But each one of you have that live boldly. What does it mean? And for those that are graduating from this program, you get to walk out. You've created some skills to say, I don't have to live my past anymore. I can learn from it and grow from it. I can teach from it. That doesn't mean that that's my future. And I thought to myself, what does that mean? Well, to me, live boldly means showing up authentic. Showing up who you are and be who you are. Speak your truth. Be willing to say, no, I'm not going to do this, or this doesn't work for me, or I am who I am, and I'm going to show up, and I'm going to be who I am. Except that I always say I'm perfectly imperfect. So accept that you're perfectly imperfect. Isn't it great that we're humans and we can mess up and we can keep growing? The other thing is matter. You matter. Each of you matter. And the last thing is live boldly. And if you do that, guys, there is hope. There's hope in healing. I know it. And I just want to leave that with you. And I hope that you guys have got just a little glimpse of something different that maybe you've never heard of before. And I want to tell Chris and Melanie, love you guys. Thank you for letting me come speak. I'm Shelly Jo with Shelly Jo Hypno-Aminos. I'm also the amino acid lady and hypnotherapist. You can find me at hypnoaminos.com. You can go on and you can take a quiz, and it'll tell you, hey, can these help you? And then you want to look for my book. So fill it out so you can get on my email. I promise I'm not a big emailer. You won't get a ton of them. But you'll find out when my book's coming out. It's going to be amazing. And Jared, I met with him 2 years ago because it's been a while. So thank you. Thank you for letting me be here, guys. I hope you have a great night. Thanks for... Mwah.